Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com. Today we are talking about the crack up boom and is that what happened here in Venezuela. In case you don't know, the crack up boom is an economic theory developed by a very legendary economist from Austria called Ludwig von Mises. And such economic theory stands that when you have an money printing situation, let's call it, an expansion of the monetary supply, you start having high prices on nominal terms. And what happened is, on nominal terms, all the prices rises, but on real terms, actually the true value or any given price, any given good, service, asset, valuation, you name it, on real terms, just shrink. That's what happened in Venezuela? Well, kind of. Let's explain a little bit more. Of course, when you think on, of course, the expansion of the money supply, you think about inflation. And when you think about inflation, if, of course, prices rises unevenly, that's one of the things about the crack of boom and hyperinflation overall, is that the people who control the money supply expand such money supply in order to get value, because the people who benefit on a money supply expansion is the people who are close to the expansion and they take real value of printing, and when they just sprinkle the money all over the economy, the people who get the money at the end is the people who got reduced their purchasing power. And that's what happens on inflation, hyperinflation scenarios, and that's actually just what happened here in Venezuela. The caveat here in Venezuela is that Venezuelans ain't silly. They saw that's coming. Of course, they got their savings, everything destroyed at some point in time, and they just change and start demanding to be paid on USD for goods and services, and also they have to pay on USDs as a reference, as a benchmark as well. But at the same point, at the same token, I'm sorry, is that you had this economic mayhem when not everyone could keep up and charging these prices, because some people, very great size of the population, they just earn at the moment on Venezuelan bolivar. So on nominal terms, yes, their revenue increase nominal terms on Venezuelan bolivar, but on real terms, the money didn't value anything, and happened another economic situation that is called as the Gresham's law. So the Gresham's law states that bad money chases good money, and that means when you have an oversupply or something, is gonna chase something that has a limited fixed supply. Let's say, for instance, when you print money, the price of gold, and that's why gold bugs love gold, the price of gold rises on nominal terms, because you cannot print gold, but you can print fiat money, like for instance the USD, and in this particular case the Venezuelan bolivar. And what happened is, on real terms, on nominal terms, everything went sky high, but on real terms, things depreciated. And that's what you see all this news in Venezuela about inflation, hyperinflation, and such, that on nominal terms, on measure on Venezuelan bolivar, of course, they got sky high, but on real terms, actually plummeted. And that's a tricky question to explain, but what I will, if I make a chart of true value here in Venezuela, of how things are cheap or expensive is that on 2017 and early 2018, prices on nominal terms went sky high, but on real terms went way low actually. And we are seeing an quote unquote inflation on real terms from 2018, although the hyperinflation ended on officially on 2021. And on nominal terms, actually the inflation rate is being trending down. It's been a disinflation, so a reduction of the inflation rate on nominal terms on Venezuelan Bolivar. On real terms, actually, we're having inflation on real terms on USD. Of course, you have to take into account that the US dollar is being depreciating because it was an expansion of the money supply on USD by the US government and the Federal Reserve and such since 2020, since the start of the pandemic. And also you have to take into account the war on Ukraine, where, first the oil prices went up, and also the food prices all over the world also went up because both Russia and Ukraine are very big on their food exporters, net exporters of food products like wheat and flour and stuff like that. Okay. Now, in Venezuela, we had a crack of boom. Yes, we had it on nominal terms, on measure on Venezuelan bolivars, but on real terms, actually, first we had a depreciation measure on USD, and right now we're starting to have an appreciation of any given good, services, wages, real estate, you name it, on real terms, measured on USD since 2018. And what we had is the Venezuelan economy reached rock bottom on 2019. That's when we had this big contraction on GDP. We had around between 70 and 8% of GDP collapse. And right now, the Venezuelan GDP is growing on a pace of 10% per year since then. And the other reason is that because Venezuela is not a poor country, it's an impoverished country, which is different because Venezuela has always been kind of a rich place for Latin American standards and with very bad economics on the past decade. Everything collapsed, but right now with somehow decent economics. I'm talking decent, I'm not talking, this Austrian economic, libertarian economy policies that we're having back then, but still just decent. Your average politicians that just charge taxes and such, and they're a little bit bureaucrat, but still you can do your own thing, your entrepreneurship, your thing, doing your stuff. Now we are starting to see growth because the nature of an economy is to grow, because people want to get better for themselves, they want to produce, they want to get a home, maybe start their families and such. That's the nature of people, and that's the nature of economics. Growing all the time, but you're gonna see this boom and bust cycle. And yes, we had a crack of boom here in Venezuela, although we are seeing some relief on the past few years and a steady growth since then. Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, venezuelainsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.